In the late 1970s, a mysterious Pakistani intelligence and CIA asset came to the United States. His name was Mubarak Gillani. He came to America posing as an Islamic scholar, a holy man and spiritual leader. But he was no more than a con man looking to get rich. He was not here to guide people to Islam. He was here to guide cash to his pockets. After failing to gain a following in his home country of Pakistan, he decided to turn his efforts to the United States. He was most likely working with government agencies in Pakistan and the United States. But his main goal was to enrich himself. As for his work with the government agencies, he was a tool used to destroy the most successful and powerful group of Muslims in the history of the United States, the Darul Islam movement. The Darul Islam movement was a group founded by Black American Muslims. Its power and reach spanned across the United States. However, the Black American Muslim community was not prepared for the schemes of Mubarak Gillani. The Darul Islam movement was devoted to practicing and spreading Sunni Islam by adhering to the Quran and Sunnah and avoiding innovative practices. They especially wanted to avoid foreign influence. Mubarak Gillani posed as an Islamic scholar and spiritual guide and approached members of the Darul Islam movement in an effort to take over the group. Internally, some members of the Darul Islam movement wanted to take over the group of Black Muslims themselves, particularly the security forces of the group, which comprised of ex-military. These were the muscle of the Darul Islam movement. Mubarak Gillani swindled his way to get close to the disgruntled members of the Darul Islam movement. He claimed to be divine and possessed special powers. Some members of group were fooled, and they began to fall for the falsehood of Mubarak Gillani. However, the majority of the members recognized Gillani as a fraud. But this would not deter Gillani. This well-organized, independent, and successful group of Muslims were going to be his cash cow. He continued to give talks and pose as a religious scholar. Slowly but surely, his following of ignorant, disgruntled, and power-hungry members attached themselves to Gillani. The once united group of Muslims began to see turmoil. People were confused, and families were choosing sides. The future was uncertain. The Darul Islam movement, ever since Mubarak Gillani entered the picture. Eventually, Gillani seized his opportunity. The security forces of the Darul Islam movement wanted to take control of the group. The security forces was primarily made up of members who were ex-military. They were the muscle of the group, but not the brains of the group. Gillani groomed them and fueled their desire to have more power. And their path to getting more power was by supporting Gillani. Gillani gave them an offer they couldn't refuse. The followers of Gillani and his newfound muscle conspired behind the scenes to take over the group. Threats, intimidation, assault, and even murder would be used by Gillani and his lackeys. They eventually pulled off a successful coup d'etat and ousted the old leadership. And now Gillani was finally at the head of the table. The once thriving group of the Darul Islam was taken over by a fraudulent, money-hungry Pakistani. Those that followed Mubarak Gillani formed the group called Al-Fuqra, and were forced to leave their homes to live in slum compounds and give Gillani money. They also committed many crimes, including fraud, murder, assassinations, and terrorist acts. They went from having business, schools, and successful communities to living in rural slums and living in poverty. They could not even improve their lives because all of their money was given to Gillani. Gillani grew fat off the sacrifices of his followers, and the group continued to degenerate. However, the terrorist acts and other crimes commanded by Gillani would eventually catch up with the group. Al-Fuqra was named as a terrorist group. This is when Gillani decided that staying in America was too risky. He began to gather child brides in preparation for his return to Pakistan. He needed to leave before the authorities brought him in. As authorities closed in on the Darul Islam, Gillani took steps to protect himself. He hid behind his followers so that he could have plausible deniability for the crimes he commanded them to do. He was like a devil hiding in the shadows. Gillani took his money and his child brides and fled back to Pakistan. They also changed the name of their group to the Muslims of America, or TMOA for short. Gillani lived in luxury in Pakistan and continued to collect millions of dollars from his poor black American followers. He eventually died, and one of his child brides took over the group. However, his family continues to fight over the inheritance worth millions, earned from defrauding ignorant black American Muslims.